I'm super fine. How was your week?
It was pretty great. How about you? Did you have a great weekend?
Yes, such a nice weekend.
So,
Went with family, had some good times. What about you, Harry? How was your weekend?
my weekend is still busy. Almost done.
Exams, huh?
No, I still study summer vacation. Almost die.
Uh-huh. That's very interesting. How about you guys? Jenny, Peter, Stephen?
Peter.
Can I ask you guys to open the cameras? How was your week, Jenny?
My week was pretty busy. My mom still makes me study in the summer vacation. So every day I had to learn math and English.
Math and English.
Yes.
Well, English is very interesting in summer. I believe it's the best time to study English. And good luck with your math. Do you like math?
Yes, ma'am.
A little bit, but not the hard questions.
Mm-hmm. So the easy ones, huh?
Yeah.
What about you, Stefan?
Well,
How was your week?
it's pretty fun.
Any specific occasions or events? Did you do anything like KK abnormal?
Oh.
So same as mine. I only got out once with my family. That's it, I believe. What about you, Peter? You had a nice week?
Yeah, I was pretty busy. I studied math, English, writing, language, blah blah.
So you're a very committed students, huh? All of you. That's very interesting. You all study very well. Okay, now let me see if we're still waiting for anybody. Um, we have. Where do I keep the names? Okay, Lewis has stopped. Sun is still missing, I believe, yeah. Stephen, Lily, Peter, Harry, and Jenny, and Sandy. So we still have Sandy and Sun. We're expecting them to join. Sun was committed the last time, but Sandy was not here, I believe, right? Okay, so I hope everything is alright with them. How did you find your homework? Did you like working on the off days and work days of the week and writing the reasoning? Did you find it easy? What about you, Lily?
Yeah.
Peter, yeah.
Yes,
You find it easy?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you like the motion? Tell me, Jenny, what do you think about the homework?
I think it was pretty easy.
Uh-huh. So, a common opinion that it's easy. I believe that I have to turn it on a little bit. So maybe something harder this week. What do you say?
Okay.
Okay, I'm very excited for today's lesson because today we're gonna learn about speakers' roles, and then about burdens. So these two terms are very important in terms of WSDC. Let me ask you to make sure that you haven't gone through this lesson before. Have you learned or been taught about any explanations or lectures about burdens? Do we know what does burden mean?
Burden is like something bad that you have to carry around even when you don't like it.
Okay, that's the literate mean of burden, which is like the accurate mean of it. Uh, Thank you, Harry. And do you think you're familiar with the term burden in terms of the debate context?
No.
So this is the first time we hear about burdens. Is that right, Stefan?
What?
Is it the first time you hear about the term burdens?
Yeah.
Okay. What about speakers' roles?
Mm,
All
I learned
time?
it from other classes.
You have learned about speakers' role?
Yes.
Okay, that's fantastic. We all agree on that? We all remember the speakers' roles?
Teacher, what are you talking about this? I haven't heard it.
Hi, son.
We've been talking about.
Okay. Hi, Sam. We were just welcoming everyone, and we are still talking about today's topic. We'll start with a quick revision of the speaker's roles, and then we'll explain the term burdens, and we'll have the exercise about the burdens. So next week we'll have a debate about that. Okay. So are we all on board? Jenny, Peter, do you have anything to add? Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Okay, fantastic. So let's have a quick revision of speakers' roles and responsibilities. Okay, let us read the notes here. So we have 3 speakers, 2 reply speeches, and POIs. So first speaker, here you can see Novice League and Open League, okay? Novice League and Open League are terms that you have to be familiar with in terms of competitions. So when we talk about competitions, there are types of competitions that we can apply for. But in WSDC, which is the actual format of that, it is 8 minutes. So each speaker can speak for 8 minutes. But when we're talking about a novice league, sometimes we can participate in novice league competitions. They will ask you to speak for 3 to 5 minutes. In open league, 5 to 7 minutes. All the rules of the competition will be announced before starting with it. Okay, so don't worry about that. Reply speech is also 2 to 4 maximum. In WSDC format, it is about 4 minutes of a reply speech. POIs are optional. Do we know what POIs mean? So POIs are points of information, and it's about asking questions to the speaker while they're talking. How does that work? For example, if I'm the first speaker from the proposition team, the opposition team, first, second, and third, can raise their hand and say POI, which is, can I ask you something? So it's something that you want to intermediate the other's speech with. So maximum 2 POIs accepted per speaker per round. Me as a speaker, I will be evaluated whether I have given enough POIs and whether I have received enough POIs. Both are very important. We have to ask questions that are critical and that are accurate, and we know why we're actually asking the question. So for example, if I have an idea about something in my speech that I wanted to ask the other team about, so I can reuse it again and again, in my speech, I will highlight it in a POI and see how they would interact with that. So there are two ways for the speaker to interact with the other team. Number one, rebuttals, and number two, POIs. POIs are the direct one, which is I raise my hand and I say POI. The speaker can take me and say, yes, I'll take it. Or he can say or she can say later, I cannot take the POI right now. So they have the right to refuse the POI. But it's not for their sake to refuse all of the POIs. You gotta take at least two POIs if they're asking all the time. Okay? From there, we can move to the first speaker, which is the proposition team. Okay? Remember to introduce the motion and remember to do this out of your time. So you can say, this is the motion for today, and then start your timing. So you wouldn't waste much of time just reading the motion that everybody actually knows. Then you have to define key terms in the motion. So for example, in our last motion in the homework, we said a 4-day work week. What does a 4-day work week mean? So it's a very quick definition about what does we mean about that. Okay, what does it mean? For example, in other motions, there are examples about like social media influencers or environmental terms or educational terms that it's very pleasant and it's better always to define them. Look, I wrote here that they must be reasonable. What does that mean? I cannot just define something in a way that is not objective, that is not 100% correct, and I cannot just, rephrase it in a way that will help me as a proposition team, which is actually not correct for the other team. And then I have to establish the burdens. This is exactly the burden, guys, okay? So what does each side need to do in order to win? And this is the exact question that the judge will ask himself after the game, or even before the game. Whenever I am a judge, I would read the motion and I would think, okay, so for proposition to win, they have to prove 1, 2, and 3. So these are the burdens of proposition, and these are the burdens of opposition. And it works both ways. So if I am proposition, I will be going through that in details later. But let me give you this quick idea. For example, if you remember the homework that I sent you, the structure of the assignment, it contains a lot of burdens. So for example, it's very important in such a motion to prove that with your model, which is either a 4 days work week, or no, the same one, which is just the current status quo right now. It's a very big burden for each team to prove that it's better for the employee. I cannot win this round, I cannot win this game if I have not proven that with my mechanism the employee will be will be happier, will be more productive, etc., etc. So I structured the questions in a way that we will benefit from it and we will invest in your homework in today's session. Okay? Then I have to establish a mechanism, if applicable, what's their plan to make their motion come true. For example, if you are proposing a change in the motion, then you have to have a mechanism for that change. For example, if I say this house believes that or this house would, for example, create a school named X, I have to say that what does school X mean, number one, and number two, what is my mechanism to build that school? Okay, so this is just an imaginary emotion in order to understand what a mechanism is. Whenever we'll go through, please write this down. Whenever we'll go through the would motion, we'll be explaining more what does a mechanism mean. Okay, I believe this is very important to note because it is directly attached to the would motion, and we'll be going through the types of motions through the sessions. Lastly, you as a speaker have to present the 2 or 3 arguments of your side. So first speaker can present 2 to 3 arguments and just leave the second and third to go through rebuttals and answers. Or you can have 2 arguments as a first speaker, and the second speaker can take the third argument. So it's up to your team and your strategy. Okay? So this is the first speaker from the proposition team. You gotta start with definitions, which is reasonable. Then establish your burdens and explain how you're going to fulfill those burdens. And then go to the mechanism if it's a wood motion and you need a mechanism. And lastly, present your arguments, which is the main reason why do you stand with the motion or against the motion. If I turn the slide on and go to the first speaker from the opposition team, you can say that it's exactly the same tasks, but with a very big one, which is engages with the proposition burdens. So for example, as opposition, you don't have to go through every little details again and again and just ignore that there's a speech before you. You have to engage with everything that has been presented from the proposition team. You don't have to come and present another definition. You have to listen carefully for the definitions that they have presented and engage with them. Either accept them or say that no, there's certain mistakes there. I have to correct this. I have to add this idea. This is unreasonable, and you always have to explain why is it unreasonable, and then go to the burdens. Explain why do you think these burdens are correct, are important, and then go to the challenges of everything else. I'll stop here, and I'll be taking questions. Do we have any questions?
No.
No questions. So we totally understand what the first speaker task is, okay? Jenny?
I don't have a question.
Fantastic. Lily? I can't see Steven anymore.
I don't have any questions.
Go.
Okay. I might ask you guys to stop using the reacts while I'm explaining something. Firstly, I got distracted. And number two, your friends also will. So please stop using the reactions on your screen, etc., etc., okay? Okay. I wouldn't go through the second speaker for now. I will stop with the first speaker. And I want to go in details with the burdens for now so we can cover it up. And for next class homework, we'll be working on the first speaker more and more. Because I know that's very important to understand the tasks, but which is way much more important is to experience and to do first speech. So you can figure whether you want to be a first speaker or second speaker or third speaker. And in order to have that decision or to have that, familiarity in your mind, you gotta understand the tasks of each speaker. So one of the main tasks for the first speaker is burdens. Let me ask you for now, what did we understand of the word burdens? And I will continue explaining. So do you have any idea, Peter? Can you summarize a little bit about burdens?
A burden is someone needs to do on their side, whether opposition or proposition.
Okay, and if I fulfill it right, then I am more likely to win the round. Understand it this way. You can set the burden, okay? And you can actually analyze the motion very well to say, okay, this is my burden as proposition. And through experience, with so many motions being played, being watched, etc., you will understand that burdens will be easier, okay, to figure out through time. So whenever you had a motion, you just think about it and then you say, okay, what do you think these are our burdens? Okay? So think about it this way. Burdens are main questions that if you ask yourself, okay, why would I pick a side? You would think about them immediately. So for example, if I go back to the motion of the homework, you can clearly say that a more productive work is a main point in this debate. So there's a big burden on each side to prove that their side of the house will fulfill this need in the workforce in general. I will be a more productive employee on your side of the house. That's why I pick your side of the house, okay? And always remember, this is note number 2, always remember that there are burdens that are a little bit more important than other burdens. So, for example, if we're talking about the workforce, okay, productivity, mental health, the amount of improvement, personal growth, economical growth, etc., 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 are way much more important in this motion than saving the environment, for example, or educational purposes. Or unless if you want to present another idea which is not that relatable to the motion, you have to tell me why that idea is more important than the other side's idea. Okay? And always, if you have your priorities right, you will be engaging with the other side. Because in such a motion, if I come and present a first argument about the environment and how does the environment will get, hurt on their side of the house, I will have a first opposition speaker who would ask me, why do you care about the environment that much in a motion that we are still discussing whether this is better for the workforce or not? So we believe your point is less important than our point. Anyways, I will engage with that, but let me first express the main important point in this debate, which is, for example, productivity. Okay? So you will lose the interactive with the other side, number one, and number two, they will prove easily that their point is more relatable and relevant to the motion. Do we understand that? Do you think burdens is a little bit clearer now? Please open your mic and speak.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, ma'am.
No questions.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so how do we structure the burdens of the motion? This is a very interesting question. Whenever I have a motion, I have to think about it a little bit, and then I would have to ask myself, who is getting affected by the motion? Okay? Who is getting harmed by the motion? Who is getting benefited out of this motion? So we're talking about people, institutions, places, countries, for example, etc., etc. But within countries, we have to identify more of a people dimension. So whenever we are discussing emotion, we have to ask ourselves who is getting affected by this motion directly. So, for example, if we're talking about this house would ban homeworks from school, students are the first people who are affected by this law, صح? For example. Is that right? Number two, teachers. Number three, parents. Okay? So here we are actually addressing stakeholders. Okay? So now we have two terms of debate that we are that is ongoing. Number one, burdens, and number two, stakeholders. Stakeholders are the main people out of this debate who are affected, and we have to care about their level, about their situations. Are we bettering their lives, or are we not doing that much of a good for them? For example, in the homework motion, it was about employees, employers, startups, companies. These are the stakeholders. Without identifying the stakeholders, you cannot actually address burdens, because burdens are mainly about the stakeholders. Do we understand that till now?
Yeah.
And do we have any questions? Okay, let us look at this motion. For example, this house would make physical education optional in school. I believe you have debated this motion before, right?
What do you mean?
Okay. In class number 7, you have done it before?
No, we haven't.
Okay. Let me write it down for you then. Give me 1 second.
1 second.
So I'm writing it in the chat, okay? So this house would, and we will be discussing the would motion later more and more, would make, try to write it with me, physical education optional in schools. Can we see the motion?
Yes.
Okay. So think about the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders of this motion?
The house. The family.
This is the word stakeholders. I want you to be familiar with this term, okay? Can you see it through the chat? So, in a debate, it's very important to understand that we need to figure out who are the main stakeholders of this debate, and then what are my burdens as proposition or as opposition. We will take 2 minutes individually to think about the stakeholders of this motion that I wrote in chat. Okay, I'll be asking you individually to tell me your answer. Take 2 minutes. If you have any question, please feel free to open your mic and speak, okay?
Em không. Chị ơi. Ồ. Em đang học à?
Okay, thank you, Harry. What about the others? Do we have any other answer? Let me ask Lily. Lily, what do you think?
I haven't finished yet. Give me a few more minutes.
Sure. Sun?
Yeah, I agree with Harry.
Interesting. Peter?
Peter Pan.
What is a stakeholder?
Okay, you don't understand what a stakeholder is.
Yep.
Okay, let me ask you please, Peter. Next time if I write anything that you don't understand, open the mic and ask, please teacher, can you explain this to me? Okay? Can we agree on that?
Yes.
Okay, so stakeholders are the main people, places, or institutions that are affected by the motion. So if we agree on the motion, or if we disagree with the motion, then their lives will be changed. We are talking about them, okay? So, for example, in the motion of the homework, as I said before, the employees and the employers are both very important stakeholders. Okay, this is very important to understand, because people who are affected by the motion and the people who will be discussed within the game are actually the stakeholders. Okay, Peter? So, for example, if I say this house would ban Zoom classes, then stakeholders, for example, will be online teachers and students who are taking online courses and institutions who are actually working on online platforms. Do you think it's clear now?
Yes, thank you, teacher.
Okay, I can see some answers. It's very interesting, Harry, to always research for anything, but I'm always here also. So if you have any question, also you can ask Google for sure, but you can ask me anytime, okay? I'm here to explain all of these terms. And if you think you don't understand it, we can go through it again. I believe you did. Please don't be. Consider me as your, teacher, teacher friendly, teacher sister, whatever you want to call me. And please, please, please don't be shy to ask. Yeah, sure, accepted. But, for example, think about it this way, your parents actually paid for these classes for you. So these classes are very important. You can learn to the maximum out of them. Okay? And specifically in debate, you cannot learn without asking, without criticizing sometimes. And it's not about criticism in a negative way. No, it is about having a point of view that you want to express and you want to ask about. So please stop me whenever you don't understand a thing and say, please teacher, repeat this. Can you, because I'll be happier to know that I have helped you to understand something deeper. Okay? I love questions. So please ask as many questions as you can. So we have all similar answers: students, physical education and teachers, parents, guardians, families, teachers, parents. Okay, now let me come and ask you one question. Do you think that all students are affected with this motion? Or do you think specific kind of students will be affected more than the others? Think about it this way. Please stop shadowing on the chat and focus with me. I'm asking a very important question here. Do you think all students will be affected by the motion? Or do you think specific students will be affected more than the others? So when I say students in general, it's different than saying students and these specific students.
Some students will be more affected.
Can you say it one more time?
some students can be more effective than others.
Okay, Son, what do you think?
I think so because I have
Okay.
I experimented in my class. I says that
Mm-hmm.
you like doing more homework or like doing the optimistic homework, like this education optional, and they like some and only a few choose it. Only a few choose
Oh, oh,
optimal
stinky, oh, oh,
education, and other
stinky.
choose regular because they like like normal.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank you very
stinky.
much, Son. Um, again, again. Focus with me, please. When we're talking about something in the class, please be focused in the class. Do not correct each other on the chat and do not give each other any comments on the chat. Okay? If there is any question, this is my job. I can answer it very well. Okay? And if you have any question, please ask me. But because when I'm seeing the messages that are not necessary, I am distracted with the messages and I cannot focus with everybody else. Okay? Now, let us go back to the question. Specific kind of students are more effective than the others, and that is actually very correct. Now, if I come and say in a debate that my main stakeholder for today is actually student, and in general, all the students will be affected, but specific kind of students will be affected more than the others. And then I move on to my next point. The judge will write next to my speech one question. What type of students do you think will be affected more than the others? So debate is about accuracy, okay? You cannot just say other types of students. No, you have to tell me which kind of students do you think they will be more affected. Let's hear from Peter.
I think that students that are not as good in physical education will be more effective than students that are good with physical education.
Very interesting. Harry?
Students that like to that students just don't like to exercise and want to rest.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Son?
I think that I don't. I agree with Peter anyway. Because when we learn PE, some students in my class doesn't like it because they're not good at it. But some love it because they're very good. They're not bad and do other stuff. So I think I agree with Peter.
Huh? Uh-huh. Thank you very much, Son. The categories that you are mentioning now, we call it in a debate subcategories of stakeholders. So subcategories of stakeholders are specific types of people that we want to address within this debate. Okay? And let me explain very quickly why, in a judge's point of view, this is very important in debate. Okay? Listen to me carefully. Whenever I talk about specific types of students, I will be explaining furthermore within my argument or during my speech why, in terms of these students, I will win on this point. So, for example, if I go back to this motion, we're talking about physical activity. For example, for me as Farah, I would go with a subcategory of students who cannot access football classes. They came from poor families. Their families cannot afford to send them to like private classes or private to hire them private coaches or whatever. They cannot afford to let's say pay for them for private gym or whatever. So for me, poor families deserve, okay, to be more or better served within schools. These students need the physical activity and the physical educational classes, and I believe we are depriving them from this right. And within my speech, I will be explaining why this is important and why this is actually the most important point within this debate. Okay? So this is way much more stronger than just talking about students in general. We are specifying certain types of students and we are standing against the motion for that, or we're standing with the motion for that, etc., etc., etc. Okay? Do we understand this point? Let me hear from Stephen. Stephen, you've been silent for a while. Do you understand the idea?
Only a bit.
Only a bit, okay. But do we actually know what does a stakeholder mean then? Do you think it's clear?
Stakeholders
Yeah.
mean the person that is affected by the motion.
Fantastic. Now let's move on to the burdens. What are the main burdens of the motion? Let's work individually for a bit, and let's work on proposition team. Take just few minutes. What are the main burdens for the proposition team? Just like made me sure before, everybody understand what burdens mean.
Yes. Burden.
Harry, you didn't understand it that much. Shall I re-explain it?
Is burden
Yeah.
what a team need to prove to win their side for solutions?
Yeah, we can say that. But if you're a judge, then you're thinking in your mind that okay, this team deserves to win because they have proved this and this and this. Okay, so these are your burdens for today. You can ask yourself, I will teach you a little trick, okay, that I actually use in debate a lot. To always think about the burdens is actually to think about the key questions of the debate. Okay? So think about it as a debater, as you were the judge. If you were a judge for this debate, what would you care about? What would you expect each team to be discussing and talking about? So you can ask yourself, number one, who are my stakeholders? And once you figure them out, you can ask yourself, for example, if we go back to the work motion, you can ask yourself, what are the main purposes of work Okay, the word you mean burdens?
No,
Harry,
it's the word my.
The word my. Why is my stakeholders? I think it should
okay. So yeah, I understand. So me as someone who talks about debate in general, I would use my referring to my team, okay? So my motion, my team, my argument, etc., etc. So it doesn't mean anything. It just means that it belongs to you right now. You are working on it. Okay? Okay? Now, let's go back to burdens. What do I need to prove Can you see the question that I wrote down? This is is the main key question of burdens? What do I need to prove to win the round? If I prove this, I'll be winning. Then another question emerged, which is, what are the main strong points that I have? And I believe this is a very interesting question. Now what we will be doing is, we'll be going into teams. I will have Peter, Harry, okay. Do you see the breakout rooms?
No.
I think you did it. Yeah.
So Peter, Harry, and Jenny room 1. What we'll be doing? Answering these two questions. Number 1, what do I need to prove to win the round? And number 2, what are main strong points that I have in this round? Peter, Harry, and Jenny will be prop team. Lily, Sun, and Steven will be in the main role. Okay? I'll be moving you guys to their rooms and I'll be taking questions there. Oh, I renamed here room 1. So I already assigned you guys. Peter, Harry, and Jenny, go to room number 2, okay?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you move now?
No.
Don't see anything
I haven't.
at all.
You haven't
Can you
said
see
the
breakout?
name. Oh, now I
Can you
see
see
it.
breakout room?
Now I see it. Ow, ow, stinky. Ow, ow, stinky.
Wait, what are the main ideas, Peanut? Wait a minute.
Ow, ow, stinky. Ow.
Where's Jenny?
She is still there, but her camera might be broken.
Yeah, really.
Peter Pan, Peter Pan, Peter Pan, Peter Pan. Peter Pan.
Your name's spelled wrong. Is it Harry 2 R's or 1 R?
1.
Okay. A unique name.
Okie dokie.
do we have? Wait.
Oh, oh, sting, ding. Oh, oh, sting, ding.
Where is teacher? This is called a breakout room. So can we break out of this one?
Breakout room or break. Is it time for recess?
Wait, so we need to answer the questions? It may be a breakout room. I think we can break out of this room. Let's see. A hammer, boom. We can break out here.
No, just answer the question. You need to be serious now.
Okay, wait a minute. Who are my stakeholders? What are the main purposes of work? What do I need to prove to win this round? What are the main strong points that I have?
Hello, guys.
Hi. Teacher is
Okay, I see some sad faces.
Peter is asking how to answer the questions.
Joking.
That's very interesting. I wanted to ask the same question actually.
Oh,
How can we actually answer such a question? Do you need anything that I can support you with?
my mind is blank.
My mind is minding. I'm trying actually to get you to a place to learn this skill. I want you to be familiar with these terms. And number two, this is a new skill, guys, okay? So think about it this way. This is not something that you actually know. You're discovering this. And our method of learning is to get it out of our minds instead of, me saying it, you memorizing it, me asking about it next class. I don't like this. Okay? I don't want you to memorize anything. I want you to think about it so the skill will be captured within you. So this question will help you actually learn a new skill, which is a critical skill. Now, break it down to simpler questions. And remember, you cannot learn anything by yourself. You have to learn with the others. Turn on the mics and talk to each other so you can help each other. And please don't ask Google or ChatGPT within the class, okay? So focus with each other, open the mics and talk. What do you need to prove to actually win such a round from the proposition side? Your proposition, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Think about the stakeholders and think how can you actually better their lives. I'll give you a quick example, okay? And then you can I don't know if it will help. I hope it will help. For example, in my house, I live with my mother and my brother and my father and my sister. My sister just moved abroad and now it's just me and the family. So if I want to convince my mother to buy me something new, I know for sure that I need something for her to present in order to convince her to buy me, for example, a new dress. Okay? So I know for sure that I need some tools to win the round. You can think about it as this. Whenever you're debating with your parents, it's a round that you want to win. And I would be winning by actually having a dress. So what I need to do is I sit down and I think, what do I actually need to win this round? How can I convince her to buy me the dress? For me, I know for sure that I have to, number one, have a dress in mind because my mother doesn't have that time to go to the market with me and look all over the place, blah blah blah. So I need to have a dress in mind. I need to know that the price is reasonable. and I present the price for her. And number three, I need to find a suitable day that she's off, she's not working. We can go together to the market and buy the dress and I can try it on, etc., etc. So these are the main things that I actually need to convince her that the dress is a right choice. Okay? Think about it as simple as this. Your proposition side, and you have to prove it to the judge that it is very logical to take this step and to ban the or to make it optional, the physical education. So what do you actually need for that? Is it a little bit better? Harry saying is not that much. Open your mics and talk with each other. Share your ideas. Let me hear. What are you thinking about? I'm not evaluating, we're just learning together, okay? Seems like everyone is reading something. What are you guys reading?
I am trying to
I'm not
think.
reading at all.
I am trying to think of an answer to the questions. But the question is still too hard.
Not hard, it's easy.
Okay, what about you, Jenny? Do you have anything to share? I'll be visiting the breakout room, the first one, and I'll be back in 2 minutes, okay? Give it a try and we'll discuss it together.
Yeah.
Diam sak. Teo, 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 teo.
Please. I've answered like a big fat zero.
Do you have any question?
All the question you asked in the chat.
Yes. No, go ahead, ask it now. You don't have to write it down. Do we understand it a little bit? Or do we still find it hard? Hard, huh? It's new. Yeah, fair enough. It's actually very new. Where about you, Jenny?
It's still hard.
Still hard, okay? Peter?
It's okay. A bit hard.
Okay. Do you have anything to share with me? Have you discussed it yet?
No.
Okay, we'll be closing the breakout rooms in 1 minute. And we'll be having an open discussion, okay? No presentation in front of the others. We will just have an open conversation and we'll be deepening the understanding of burdens together, okay? So there are no speeches or anything that you have to present. We just need some time to understand the burdens better. Don't be upset if you don't understand it because it's new and it will take some time for you to absorb it and to experience it, etc., etc., okay? That's totally fine.
Penny's answer looks a bit suspicious. I tried to warn Lily, but she wouldn't listen.
She went back to the main room. So I think we have to follow.
Okay. That's fantastic. Let me start by saying a couple of things. Firstly, I can understand that burdens would be, a new aspect of the classroom, and that's totally fine. I believe that some of you find it hard to understand what does burden mean, and how can we actually structure that. And I think that's fair enough. You wouldn't find it easy from the first time you learn it. Can we all mute, please? Okay, and according to that, think about like any new lesson you learn in school. You wouldn't find all of them easy, but throughout the time it will get easier. Okay, I promise. I promise I will try to make it easier for you guys to understand how to build the burdens and how to fulfill them through the debate. Okay, now I want to ask you, do you have anything to ask about the motion that I put in the chat? You have been working on the motion this house would would make physical education optional in school, and we are thinking, what do we actually need to do to win such a round as proposition and as opposition? And this is the key question for burdens. We can break it down to many other questions. So, Harry, are you okay? Are you sick?
No, I'm still fine.
You're fine?
Yes.
Shall I call one of your parents?
No, no need.
Okay. So, now we'll be going through this. We have prepared for this motion a little bit. We have thought about it. Till now, what we have in mind is number one, stakeholders. We thought about students, teachers, and families. Okay? And under students category, we thought about like lazy students and sometimes poor family, students that came from poor families, etc., etc. Do we have anything to add here? Till now, do we understand the idea of a stakeholder?
Yes, I think that it is better if you said that students come from poor backgrounds, because I always heard people say that.
Okay, what about you, Peter? Do you think you understand it here?
Yes, I understand it now.
Okay, Harry?
Yes, I do.
Interesting. Stephen, is it clearer?
Yeah.
Okay, now I will be giving you two sentences, and I want you to think about it from the opposition side of the house. So this house would make physical education optional in schools. Okay? Me as a judge, I would come and say, which side of the house can prove that the school community will be affected by this rule? Think about it individually. I will write it in the chat. The school community. And number two, motivation. And this will be the homework for next week. We'll be thinking about it. Forget the word burdens. I will show you when you actually are done with the homework for next week, you will be understanding for sure what does burdens mean. Okay? We'll close this motion for now, and now we'll have something more fun to do. But till now, are we okay? So, motivation, number one, and number two, the school community. Okay? And with this motion, we'll be closing this part of the session. We still have 20 minutes that we'll be investing in something else. And we will be experiencing what those burdens until next week. I'll be having a quick summary over that, and we'll be going through our homeworks. Is that fine? Now, I want everybody to open the mic together. Can we do that?
Yes.
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 That's fantastic to hear all of you together. And now let us move to something a little bit more fun than schooling and homeworks and etc. One interesting thing about debate is that we kind of use that to express ourselves. So, expressing ourselves is part also of expressing our ideas. And I believe that during the team working, I see that you're not that much of talkative people. So you don't share all of your ideas together, or because it's a little bit new, then we don't have that much of an idea to share. And now we'll be sharing a little bit about ourselves that I want to share with you about me, about you. But let me open the presentation first and make sure that it's clear for everyone. Can you still see my screen?
I can still see you. I can see you, but I cannot see you.
Okay.
Have you start sharing screen?
I can see you, but I can't see your screen.
Yep,
Okay.
see
You can see me, but not the screen.
you. Yes.
Okay. I'm working on it. Okay, now, can you see my screen? Oh, I believe it's working. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Let's look at the first two questions. So, which are better, cats or dogs? And number two, summer or winter? Forget about number 3 and 4, they're not that fun actually. Number 1 and number 2, I want to hear some personal answers. I'm not looking for some, logical reasoning, but I want to get to know you more and I want you to try to express your ideas about yourself. So, take 1 second and express your answer. Are you a cat person or a dog person? And why do you think your choice is better than the other? So, if you can have a pet, what would it be? Let us start with Harry.
If I can have a pet, I would choose a dog.
A dog. Why a dog?
Because
Why not a cat?
Because I want it to become Hachiko, a faithful dog in Japanese.
Is it like a type of a dog?
Do you know Hachiko, the faithful dog in Japanese?
Yeah.
Hati?
It's a food.
No, I don't know it. I will research about it. I don't know much about dogs.
Wax Peter.
Okay, so Harry would take a dog, and you have a specific kind of dog in your mind. What about you, Peter?
I would take a dog and a German Shepherd.
What? You're kidding.
Is that a type of a dog also?
German shepherds are so aggressive, teacher. They can kill.
Aggressive.
They can kill.
Peter, can you write? Peter, can you write it for me in the chat?
What about
German
golden
Shepherd.
retriever? What about
Okay,
golden
now let's hear.
retriever?
Yeah, Harry, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
What about a golden retriever?
Okay.
think that
I'll be
Peter,
expressing myself.
I think that Peter likes aggressive things because German Shepherds were used during World War II and they can kill. They can mash your bones to bits.
No, but I'll train my dog not to kill. Okay?
Oh, really? Because German Shepherds can also, the most skilled soldiers in World War II, they cannot train it. Unless you're German.
You like bulldogs?
Nope, I like cats.
Okay, your opinion.
I'm not sick.
Am I lagging? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
German
Okay.
Shepherds, they're terrifying. I don't like German Shepherds because I was one almost bit by a German Shepherd itself.
Okay. Let us go back to talking in order. I'll be asking Lily to share her idea. Which one do you choose?
I choose which is better, summer or winter.
Yeah.
I
Do you
think
choose summer or choose winter?
I choose summer because summer is when plants grow and nature thrives. It is also when I could enjoy more quality time with my families and friends and not having to worry about schoolwork.
Okay, that's very interesting. Thank you very much, Lily. Okay, I need you to stop writing in the chat, or I'll be closing the chat next time. Please focus in our discussion. This is part of the debate, okay? Just for fun. We're doing it for fun, you're sure, but it is part of the debate. Because when we're working in terms of teams together, and it's tricky, this is a big problem for us. So, can you hear me clearly?
I can't. The last time you said like this. Can you hear this? I'm true. I hear it exactly. The internet isn't. But what I can hear is that stop chatting, and I think that what I got is stop chatting because it is not good. We can't concentrate.
Guys, can you hear me?
I can. No.
I can.
Am I still audible? Come on, answer, please.
Yes.
Am I still audible to everyone?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Please stop writing in the chat, please, okay? I was listening lastly to Lily and I think I was lagging. I didn't hear the rest of you. Lily was saying that she prefers summer. Okay. I want to know what Stephen think about this. Do you prefer summer or winter, Stephen? And please explain why.
I think I like winter more because in winter we have snow and we can do many things with snow, and so we will have lots of fun without playing computer games.
Interesting. Thank you very much, Stephen. What about you, son?
I think that I like cats better than dogs. Firstly, because I like little
Okay.
animals, and cats are lonely animals. They hunt and they don't need our help to feed. Secondly, I have a cat myself, and I don't know what type of breed it is because I haven't known. It's a typically my cat is likely the naughtiest cat I've had. I did, and
Uh-huh.
every day I feed it because I have to open this cage, right? And the cat is like, oh, what is he doing? And then he saw that, that's how to open the cage. Oh, and then when I go to sleep the next morning, the cat is like, oh, right, I know how to open the cage. So he just open the cage, went out
Okay.
and eat almost half of our food in the refrigerator. That shocked me. And then he learned to stand on his
You.
hind legs.
Mm-hmm.
Then he
Interesting.
learned
Thank
to
you very much, Stan. Thank you very much for sharing this. What about you, Jenny?
I like cats over dogs because I think cats are easier to care for and they're more playful, they're more cute, and they're more independent than dogs. And we don't even need to train them.
Okay, that's very interesting. Let's hear from Peter. Peter, do you prefer winter or summer?
I prefer winter because in winter we have snow and we can make snow angels, play with each other's snowballs, make snowmans, blah blah.
Okay. Let me move this to Harry. Harry, if you're a buyer, okay, um, how would you actually explain the reasoning for choosing, for example, to buy a dog over a cat? Not by personal preference, but actually a logical reasoning about that.
I like to buy dogs over cats because dogs don't need little box and just wanna have fun.
Okay, and why do you think that's important?
Because I'm afraid that if I buy a cat, the cat can poop into my poop in my house, and I like to play with animals, but the cat won't play. They just lie around and don't do anything.
Okay, so the side of the house that will provide a more fun situation win this round. This is a burden. Okay, so when I say that, I would choose this type of a dog because it has this skill, that skill, can do this, can do that, for example. I would say that this is providing more fun for me and my family. That's why I would buy this dog. And that is a burden for me in this round. So, me as a judge would say, the winner has to prove that it's more fun to have his selection. Can you understand it a little bit more now?
Of course.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's move to the next question. I would ask Stephen this, and please focus because this is very important. Why do you think, why do you think such a choice is important in a debate class? What do you think the link between your preference of a dog or cat, winter or summer, is important in debate?
Because it
We can ask Lily as well.
Well, it's important because we need support on the top. We need support on the topic so that we will be able to win over the other side.
Okay, Jenny, why do you think asking about cats and dogs is actually relatable to debate? Jenny,
yes.
why do you think asking for cats about cats or dog or your preference about that is actually relatable to debate?
I think that it's a debate topic that we might be able to debate about.
Okay, let me have a final word on that. Um, Expressing your main idea that is in your head is very important in debate. And whether do you want to buy a cat or a dog is not a debatable issue. Okay, it's not a critical issue. Issue to think about yourself within. But if you have an idea that you don't express, then we won't be having so much fun in general. Okay? So, whenever you're in a team, I want you to express your ideas over and over and to express your preference about the work. Now, let me ask you for a feedback for this session and how can this be improved next time? Let me start from Harry. Harry, what do you think about today's session and how do you think this can be better next time?
I think today's lesson is okay, except for the question that you put in the chat. Maybe next time you can add again to make the lesson better.
So, you want me to change the question or you want me to answer the question?
No, I think that the lesson is okay, except for that the question you put on chat is so hard. And I
Okay,
think,
so are you willing to learn with me how to answer that question? That it's actually hard?
yes. And
Fantastic. We'll be doing this.
maybe next time you should add again to make the lesson better.
Can you repeat it one more time?
Maybe next time you can add a game to the lesson to make it better.
Okay, so you want a game in the lesson? A game, a debate game or a general game?
Maybe a game just answer the question about debate.
Okay, that's very interesting. I'll be adding that next time. What about you, Peter?
I think this lesson is fantastic, and I think the next lesson we should have a game of you can ask questions about the terms and debate.
Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you, Peter. Lily?
I think this lesson is exciting and also very new to me. I really love how you let us be in groups in different rooms so that we can debate with each other and make us feel specialized in real debating. So I hope in future meetings you can do that too. Thank you for today's lesson.
Thank you very much, Lily. Stephen?
I have the same opinion and improvement as Harry.
Oh my!
Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you, Stephen. So you enjoyed today or you find it boring?
I enjoyed it.
Interesting. Son?
I enjoy as well.
Thank you very much, son. Jenny?
I enjoyed it too.
Any comments?
Mấy bạn cứ như con. Bạn
Okay,
hôm nay
now what's going to happen is next class I
Trừ
promise there will be a
bài
game
nào-
that we'll playing all
bài
together
hôm nay nào
because
được
this is a
thì
common
có mỗi
preference
tôi
for
được
all
làm.
of you. And
Bữa
I will be
sau
sending
cô
the
cho
homework
thêm
through the
game.
chat. I will be investing in last week's homework so we would understand the burdens better. Okay? And have a nice week, everybody. For me, my feedback for today will be sent also on the chat, but verbally, I can say that I enjoyed today's class. I believe that everybody is just getting better and better every week. I read the homeworks and I think they are fantastic in general. But what I believe that we can work on next class, all of us, is to engage with each other better and talk better. Okay, so leave the chat alone, stop writing in the chat, and just, talk with each other, share your ideas. And when we're working in groups, try to always talk with your fellows, okay? Do not just think about it yourself. Talk with the others. Okay, this is my feedback for today. I enjoyed today's class and I can't wait for the next week. If we don't have any questions, so the class is completed. See you next week.
Bye, teacher.
Bye bye. Chào
Bye
và
bye,
hasta la
teacher.
vista. Tươi con ca này.
Bye bye.